Hi everyone! In this video we're going to go over setting up your Google account so that you can type the special characters required to type in, for example, Spanish. So Max may need to be able to type in Spanish on, say, a Google Doc. I've prepared one right here, Untitled document, that his teacher may assign to him or that he may be using to collaborate with other students, save in his Google Drive account. I'm going to show what I did again right here in this little waffle of different Google applications. My account should be one of the first ones, if not the first, that pops up and takes you to myaccount.google.com. Again, Max is already logged in, so I skipped that step. I'm going to look for language and input tools under the account preferences section. English is going to be the default language. We don't want to change the language. Everything, whenever he's on Google, would be in that new language if we were to do that. We just want to be able to input text sometimes in a second language. So we're going to go ahead and we get the languages pop-up window. We're going to check English and Espanol. You can do it twice, doesn't really matter. I always get students asking, do I check it twice? You can check it as many times as you want. And once you have chosen an additional language, it's going to ask you what input tools you want. Now, I don't want to have to type Spanish using the English default keyboard because it won't have any way for me to write the accented characters, the ñ, for example, the upside down question mark. So I need to go ahead and enable the US International keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and disable suggest and say done. Now, I have seen this part take a little while for it to kind of update, but once it does update, let's see if we get lucky. Right around here on this editing toolbar, you should see a small keyboard icon. I'm going to go ahead and refresh, reload this page and see if that pops up. While we're waiting, I'm going to go to File, Language, go ahead and choose Spanish because I am going to be typing on this particular document in Spanish. You would have to do this each time you start a new document because our default language is English. Okay, after about 5 minutes, the Input Tools icon did go ahead and pop up on my formatting toolbar there. And now I am able to click that down arrow and select the US International keyboard. Now the only difference between the English keyboard and the US International is the, I'm going to go ahead and do that again, is what you have as far as available keyboard shortcuts. This virtual keyboard can be moved around. What I like to do is go ahead and show it to students for the first time and then teach them to open it up and minimize it. Ctrl plus Alt is what we really need to look at here. When you click Ctrl plus Alt and your keyboard is set to US International, what you're going to get are these characters. So most of them coincide with the letter that they that letter on our standard keyboard. For example, Control, Alt, and A is going to give you an A with an accent. I can use the virtual keyboard to type it, and there it is. Or I can minimize this virtual keyboard and use my keys to do all of the characters that I like. I'm going to go ahead and do E. Now, there are things that don't have their own key. For example, if you want the U with the 2 dots on top, you're going to want to go ahead and do Control, Alt, and the Y. It's right next to the U on the keyboard, so it's pretty easy to, let me see, show that. It's pretty easy to remember for students. showing this virtual keyboard, either showing or hiding, showing the virtual keyboard can be useful when you are looking for maybe a symbol you don't usually use, the upside down question mark or exclamation, something like that. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it. I'm not going to close this because that will knock me back to the default English keyboard, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going to minimize. So now you'll remember that we went ahead and changed our language to Spanish, which is why, well, I spelled it wrong, that's why. Plátanos means bananas, and it needs a written accent on the first A. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and right click and accept that suggestion. Now, we unchecked suggest when we were working on our input tools in my account, but you will get the suggestions if you right click. This one needs an accent. I wasn't getting it before. Ctrl Alt I will get you the I with the accent. I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger so that we can see it better. And here I'm going to say Ctrl Alt question mark, and I will get the upside down question mark. Once your students have gone into their account settings and added the Spanish US International Keyboard for input tools, they'll be able to use these keyboard shortcuts whenever they'd like. The reason why I prefer this, if I were wanting to get a special character without having added that input tool, those virtual keyboards, it would be, let's just say, a lot more time consuming.